because I was so horrified by what I was doing. I thought like, but now if you ask me where I got my start, like where I got my voice, where I honed my people skills, my talking skills, I say I was a door-to-door sales girl.
Welcome to The Perfect Fit Presents. I'm excited to present to you Babs herself, Ms. Barbara Majeski. Sales, dynamo, more life, living. Let's hear what Barbara has to share. Good morning, Barbara. Thanks so much for being with us today on the GoPro podcast. The Perfect Fit presents Barbara Majeski, direct selling royalty. I don't want to call you a queen because that's just not strong enough. You are direct selling royalty, and we're happy to have you today with the Perfect Fit Presents podcast.
And I love being the direct sales royalty. There was a time, Ed, that I like anybody asked me what I did, I would be like, I'm a marketing director. I had all these spins on my job title because I was so horrified by what I was doing. I thought like, but now if you ask me where I got my start, like where I got my voice, where I honed my people skills, my talking skills, I say I was a door-to-door sales girl. I don't spin it. I don't fluff it. I don't do anything. I'm so proud of it because it gave me all
Right.
the skills that I think make me who I am today.
That's amazing. Well, I want to put you in the Wayback Machine, and I want to ask you. You started in direct sales, and you developed your own direct sales company eventually. I want to ask you, what was the proudest moment in your direct sales career?
I think definitely I got a lot more out of seeing other people do well. I feel I'm most proud when I look at the people that I brought into direct sales and see how their lives are thriving. I have so many people that I can look at. They have great families, great homes, they're upstanding members of the community. And I brought them into a direct sales, commission based business that wasn't very lucrative and had a lot of it was very much a startup. So it had a lot of vision, but not a lot of meat on the bone. So it was in its infancy. So to see that they stuck with me, they believed in what we were doing and what they're doing now, that I think is where I feel the most proud for sure.
So that turned into, or that was the proud. That was in the company you developed, or was that in your initial? Was your
So the
initial
what I,
sales successes?
that company is still rocking and rolling. So I interviewed for a door-to-door sales test market, really what it was, down in Atlanta, Georgia. And I worked for a guy named John Wiggins. And it was John, he was 23, 24 years old. I was 23. And he's like, listen, we're just doing a pilot for AT&T to see how effective going business to business is going to be instead of telemarketing, junk mail, radio, TV. See, AT&T was struggling to get to the small business owner because small business owners do everything. They can't take telemarketing calls. And it was too expensive for AT&T to hire sales teams and fly them into areas and deploy them into like Atlanta and other giant markets. It was cost ineffective. So that's when it was like, well, we outsource our telemarketing. Can we outsource a direct sales team? Now, we went door to door when phones were just deregulating. Cell phones were coming in, but they were $1 million a bag of cell phones. And we just went business to business and said, hey, I'm here from AT&T. Grab your phone bill. I'll take a look, see if I can save you some money on some of your phone calls and your telephone calls. Anyway, it went really well. Initially, we brought in so many new customers. They didn't have the back end processing up to handle all this outsourced sales. So we had to cap our number of reps that were in the field. But when it finally did, the reason that kept me in this like commission-based crazy lunacy working 12-hour days was it made sense. I'm like, this makes sense for AT&T. This could make sense for a whole lot of other companies to not have to internalize the sales force. And I knew that if they asked for expansion teams like me, I put myself first on deck. I'm like, all right, if you need to expand, then you need people that know how to go out in the field and can train people to go in the field. I saw what they were doing. I was like, I just have to be I got to be ready when they're ready to pull me off the bench. That's exactly what happened. So when they were like, all right, listen, we need an expansion team. I don't know why I'm talking sports analogies here, but I was expansion team number one. They opened up in Baltimore. And at that point, energy had deregulated. So they were like, will you go run a sales team in Baltimore? And at that point, I opened up my own office and became a direct contractor um, with the company and did the sales. So I ended up opening my own company. And then I was like, well, if I can open up one sales office, I can open up a dozen sales offices and I can help other people open up sales offices. And it just kind of just started to grow. I called it the Wild Wild West. Uh, it was a bit of a, it was magical, and it was like a, what do I always say? You're a work in progress and a masterpiece at the same time. I think that like defines what it was. It was a
Sure.
masterpiece of an idea, but a work in progress
Well, sure. And you were
simultaneously.
inventing the processes as you went along. You were pioneering the territory, and that's kind of what happens, right?
Ugh, Ed, and we piloted so much, but the concept was there. And now in retrospect, I'm like, yeah, of course. But we had a ton of turnover. We had a ton of, you guys are a scam. This is BS. This will never work. So we had a lot of I had a lot of people were like, where's my salary? Where's my benefits? I'm like, there is none. It is like, if you want to grind it out with us and as we
And there's
expand,
no
you can have
limit to
more.
your income.
Not no, there was none. And I liked the unlimited earning potential. I'm like, I kept doing the math and I was like, well, if you want 10 people, how about if I give you 40 people? I give you more customers, you get the residual income, you pay me upfront. The math made sense. The sales process made sense. It all made it, and still to this day, it's now one of the largest direct outsourced direct sales companies in North America, and that's the company that I had contracted with. But Ed, I think what's important is your audience is in sales. I think what's important to discuss is I believe now that sales is everything and everything is sales. And for people that say they don't like sales, all you're saying is you don't like people, you don't like relationships. Like that's all sales is. Like you talk about synchronicity selling. I get that. That's building relationships of like, this might not be a transaction for us right now, but let's stay in touch and maybe something will come out with it. And when you put relationships first in sales, everything else kind of falls into place. But you learn that in sales, and sales gives you this great foundation for anything that you want to do. I'll say this and then I'll stop talking. I do television now, right? I have 3 segments next week. Please say a prayer for me, and I'm going to be all over the place. And the reason why I can do live television, so most of my segments are live, is
Mm.
because I'm able to think on my feet. I'm able to listen twice as much as I speak. So, and I'm able to read the hosts that are there. I'm able to read their body language, and I can I can gel with them. But
Sure.
you don't learn that, you don't learn that on live TV.
No.
I learned that in sales, door to
Right.
door, straight commission, cold call sales, where most people told me to take a long walk off a short pier.
Right.
So,
You've got a very very brief time to make a connection. And a lot of people kind of roll their eyes when you start talking about relationship selling, and it's not dating, but it is a lot of listening, right? You have to be a better
yeah.
listener than the average person does when dating, I believe, right? You
Well,
got to
you
pull the
also have
story out of
to
them.
pull this right, and also you have to listen to the point where you got to find out what's in their best interest.
Hmm.
And if you're like, you know what, this is not in their best interest, it doesn't mean it's you cut them off at the knees. You think, you know what, I'm not seeing this is the best transaction for you right now, whether you're selling cars, you're selling houses, you're selling notebooks, this transaction isn't in your best interest, but I appreciate the opportunity to sit down and talk with you.
Right.
And this world, what everybody always has, what I try to teach my kids anyway, we all have ways we might not, we just keep intertwining. And
Hmm.
I bet you we play the name game long enough, Ed, we have a friend in common. We have a relative that,
Right. Or
there's
had
always
other
something.
opportunities to intersect for sure. For
It,
sure.
it's so It's not, you got to kind of look at it in a larger sense of like, all right, this isn't a match for you right now, but when I do find something or have something, I will make sure to throw it your way. And that's when realtors do really well.
Right?
That's when car dealerships do really well, when they're listening to what the customer wants and the customer
Right.
trusts that they have
What are you
their
working
best
on,
interest.
Barbara? So I can figure out how I can help you is always the
Yeah.
best position from the realtor position.
Yeah, tell me everything is something that I always say. Tell me everything. And people do.
Yes, right on. So early on, I know your favorite selling method was face to face, belly to belly, door to door.
Yeah. Hmm.
Uh, More recently, you have started the More Life Collective and helping people improve their lives, live their best lives, and that I mean everybody would love your lifestyle. You notice that I'm sitting today in front of the ramp out at Centennial Airport in South Denver. So whenever you and Brian roll in here on the Honda Jet, you'll park right out there and look how beautiful the mountains are in the background. Uh, but joking aside, the More Life Collective now, you're looking to assemble people to help them. Your mediums and methods are a little bit different than door to door, knocking.
Yeah.
So is door to door still your favorite? What's your best lead
No.
generation?
I don't think so the More Life Collective, the reason why I launched it, I see so much potential in so many people. I think everybody has magic inside them. And I think I see so much untapped potential. And I also hear people that know what they need to do, how they need to do that, and have the wherewithal, like physically, emotionally, have the wherewithal to do what they need to do to get what they want. And they are stuck, crossing the abyss from knowing what they need to do to actually doing it. Because we think it's all, the engine is run on motivation and inspiration. And I saw this great Rocky video recently, and it's like Rocky, and he comes out of the street. It's 5 o'clock in the morning, and everyone's giving him high fives, and the music's going, and I'm laughing. I'm like, 5 a.m. workouts do not look like that.
Right.
Okay, it just doesn't. I gotta like teach everyone motivation, inspiration are really are important elements to achievement, but they need to be in junction with commitment and consistency, regimen,
Sure.
routine, behavior, habits. These are actually the meat and potatoes. Motivation and inspiration, they're little spark plugs. They might get you in the gear, but they ain't
Hmm.
going to keep you in the gear to get you to where you want to be. And that was
If
the
I can, if
impetus
I
for the
can,
More Life.
if I could interject one thought, I've got a
Yeah.
lot of mileage out of a story you tell that I'll share at the end of this. But what you've just described is the difference between amateurs and professionals.
Yes.
That's why we're in the GoPro
100%.
podcast. The GoPro are the people that will have the discipline to be committed over the long haul to improve their craft, to improve their conversion rates, to improve their life. Right.
Yeah,
And
we'll pick up if the coach says do 20 paces, they're not doing 10, they're doing 20. What is that? Calling 20 people? Is that going live on Instagram 20 times? What are the paces that you don't want to do, but you do anyway because you want the outcomes? And that's the giant abyss, is all in the action. And most importantly, Ed, it does separate the amateurs from the pros, is doing it when you're not in the mood, because your goals don't care what mood you're in. They don't care how you feel. Your goals care that you do the things that you said you were going to do, whether you want to do them or not. And that's what gets you to where you want to be. So the More Life Collective is all about helping people through challenges, resets, and in-person retreats, all based in action. It's all like non-negotiables coupled with concepts in personal development. So I'm very passionate about it. I've seen transformations that I never thought. There goes my light. Sorry about that. Seen transformations over and over again.
you still look great.
Really validating that. Thank you. Really validating that when you put your mind to something and you are willing to do the work, man, that just what lies on the other side of work is so damn rewarding. So just to answer your question, because I actually didn't answer your question there, but I wanted to clear up what the More Life Collective was about. Now, obviously I don't go door to door saying, hey, listen, you should join the More Life Collective community, or buy my book, or, buy my journals, or whatever. I cast a net out to many more people. So no door to door sales for me, unless I was to give my stuff to the entire team and deploy them out tomorrow. But I feel so through
Sure. Well,
Clubhouse.
you found the joy of leverage, and
Yes.
you've already got the skills, right, to make the sale. Now you can leverage it through the magic of media and social media, and becoming a person of interest across the globe, through all of the opportunities that we actually do have, right?
Well, I'm
One thing,
definitely trying.
one of the things that bugs me greatly about my own industry of real estate is how many folks won't even take the time to complete a profile and put a headshot picture in, in the realtor directory, for example. It's like,
Mhm.
when you search your name on the internet, you better get a page full of results, or you're not going to be able to cut through any kind of noise. And if people can't find you to validate you, or to verify that you might be who you say you are, I think you're going to really fall by the wayside going forward. So
Yeah.
I need you to tell me a story. I need to tell you the motivation story, on the Jersey Shore, in the backyard, in the summertime, the barbecue.
Oh, how, yeah, I always say motivation, inspiration, they only show up when the beers are cold, the music's playing, and the grill is hot. They're nowhere to be found when all those things aren't there. So you have to rely on regimen, consistency, commitment, discipline. Whatever word resonates with you, stop asking, how can you stay motivated and inspired? Because you can't. You don't. Nobody does, but you can stay committed or discipline, whichever word works for you. Those guys show up. They don't care if the beers are cold. They're not there for the beers. They're there for the results, right? They're
Yep.
there for the outcomes. And
Amen.
that's what's so important.
And I
They're
do
there
give you
to,
credit every time I share when the grill is hot and the beer is cold and the sun's shining. It's easy to stay
it's right.
motivated.
It's easy to stay, and the music's going, and like
Right, right.
Rocky, like the
It's
theme is
like
in
your
your head. But
5 a.m.
that's,
workout with Rocky high fiving, right?
yeah,
That's,
I'm like,
except that's an
where,
imaginary land.
it's imagine, yeah, you think people are high fiving you in the 5 a.m. meat locker? Like, no, not
No,
happening.
no,
So,
no.
in relationship to what you're talking about with realtors not posting their pictures, unless you know what you want, if you know where you're going and what you're more likely to do the work. If you are just checking boxes, maybe fulfilling somebody else's perception of living the dream life, it's very hard for you to do even the smallest things. That when you know where you want to go, you're you and you're willing to do the work. Like you have to, that's the when I hear somebody not even willing to do the bare minimum, they're just they're probably not in alignment with what they ultimately want. And that's why I do so much, like when anybody joins the collective, does a 14-day reset, does a challenge, meets me in person, the first thing that we do is here's a journal. Okay, we cannot get anywhere without first writing down and getting clear with what we want. So if you're doing sales and you're looking to maybe build sales teams or scale sales teams, or you're looking to scale your brand, until you get clear about that, you're going to just be bouncing all over the place. But you start getting clear. Like, no, I see myself doing this X, Y, and Z. You can start reverse engineering how you're going to get there. It's just like going to California from New Jersey, right? You just know where you're going and then you work your way backwards. I'm like,
Hmm.
okay, I gotta load up the car, gotta load up the kids. So
Yeah.
anyway,
Well,
that's how I.
the pen gets heavy, Barbara. It's the journaling is hard. The pen gets
Mhm.
heavy. Our friend Mike Scirocco, C Rock, has
Yeah.
been putting a chat. He's going to start a challenge in May, and that one of the journaling activities that we need to do on a daily basis is, for example, sit down and write a page about the man that I am becoming. right?
Mm-hmm.
Write that story down about the man I am becoming, and you write it every morning. And it's I'm going to substitute that in for Glenn Lundy's Morning Five, uh, the daily goal thing. I need the
Mm-hmm.
time to put out where I'm going to be in 5 years. The person that I am going to become will happen because I'm focused in the energy out there that I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to have to step into it. So
And
I'm going to
it is
definitely
tremendously.
look for a journal to write that
The
down.
journal. You got to get the journal. Trust me, I'm not putting my kids through college by telling people putting these in people's hands. I just know like I got to get a journal. I'm like, get it right now and let's get it in your hands and let's start. And you're gonna realize with every time you journal or even if you write the smallest things down, they embed in your subconscious mind and you start becoming very conscientious of how you spend your time. And you're like, is that in alignment with who I am and what I want to do? And when you start kind of going there, you're like, you know what? You tighten things up. You say no to more things and you say yes to other things. You know, you're like, yes, that's in line with what I want and what I want to do. And let me just give you one thing about with journaling, because I agree when you first start it, you're like, it's like you write your name like you did in grade school with the date, and you're like, well, I got that part done. I know my name, I know the date, you know, kind of get the ball rolling. And then it could just be awkward and frustrating. So something I also say to people do, okay, if that's not gonna kickstart, go to the bookstore with $30 and get lost in the magazine section. Pick up 3 to 5 magazines. And then like this one, I love this magazine, it's Departures magazine. And
Mm-hmm.
you start pulling things out from it. Like, you know, maybe it's like, look at this surfing picture or whatever. Like, I want to learn how to surf. Um, it's content. It's consumption of positive content because we are consumers,
Mm-hmm.
not just of what we consume. You know, food wise, we consume the visuals that we consume. So this can become very powerful to and less intimidating. So I'm a big like start ripping things out of a magazine.
Sure, vision boarding is has been a long standing activity that professional people actually do. I mean, some people are not. So I'm my engineering and appreciation of architecture background. You can show me a blueprint and I can see the building complete, right? Most people cannot. So the vision boarding really allows you to make that last mile to the oh well that's what it would be like if I was off the
Yeah.
coast of Maui right now. I could be, you know, early morning
And again,
surfing.
knowing where you want to go, like especially also in sales, because sometimes sales is hard. Sales is not easy. You are, you know, you're constantly listening. All your sensories are in play, like visual, like like energy wise, like you're just all your sensories are like, "Ba, ba, 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 ba." And it can be exhausting. But it's more exhausting if you have I just got to put food on the table. That's exhausting. But if you're like, you know, something, I'm doing this, I'm going to replace myself here, I'm going to teach other people, I'm going to keep moving forward.
Hmm.
And you can only, like, again, that's why I'm like, well, why are you doing this? And where are you going? Because I can do anything for 3 years. This is my philosophy.
Hmm.
Honestly, I can do anything for 3 years, but I have to be replacing myself along the way. I have to be moving forward because everything is going to get stale. Everything's going to get mundane. Everything's going to get boring and I'm going to stop growing. So I'm like a 3 year girl of like, I'll do this for 3 years, replace myself, scale, grow, move, you know, do
Sure,
all the things.
sure,
So,
and that's how you achieve impact. You don't achieve impact sitting in a cubicle, even staring at your picture of the surfer in Maui.
and
For sure,
yeah,
it's the
exactly.
pursuit of excellence and continuous improvement are among my core values for sure.
And they're values of the most happy, of the happiest people.
Yeah,
That one
but I
of the
will say
core elements.
I need to push back a little bit on you said sales is hard. Sales becomes easy when you realize that math is undefeated.
Law of averages, my friend. It's not magic, it's math.
Right? It's Kim Walsh Phillips. It's not magic, it's math.
Yeah.
Whenever you can become comfortable with that, and become comfortable with, as we said, synchronized selling, where I need to connect with people, find out what they need, make an assessment of when they're going to need my help again, and remain in contact without being a pain in the ass until that time
Yeah.
comes. So whenever they do gestate into a potential client or a referral source, that I'm still top of mind.
Yeah.
So yeah, math is undefeated, and man,
And
I
it's a
just
law. It's a law of averages, is not a, it's like the law of gravity. Like your coffee cup isn't flying off this table because it's a law. Same
right.
law of the averages. No just means next. The more
Yep.
people you see, the closer you get to yes. Like you learn that. I use that in dating.
No, you did.
I got to Dan,
Okay,
but
it's
man,
time
dating,
now.
a
Thanks
lot
for
of
coming today, Barbara. Now we're going to go into the after party, and we're going to talk about pray for Dan and follow the band. So the law of
goodness. Yeah.
averages in dating. Tell me this: how many duds till you find the gym?
Yeah, it was quite a few. And it's so good because when you get the yes, man, it feels so good. You're like, yeah, this is the yes, this is the good, this is what I wanted, and you almost don't know, and unless you kiss a few frogs. So the no's
Sure.
have as much relevance in your life as do the yeses. So put that in your back pocket some days when it seems like nobody wants what you have. The no's do teach you just as much, if not more, than a yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So I really am enjoying our talk this morning. I want to get in. I need to get into some local stuff. So I very recently made an attempt to connect Ty Sufert of Royal Gorge Rafting with with your Instagram page. So if you
Oh.
see stuff from Royal Gorge Rafting, know that that's the owner Ty that was trying to connect with you on Instagram because I was provoking him. So
Oh, that
uh,
sounds like a good retreat for my group.
well, we briefly talked about it in Clubhouse one morning after I had been. If you remember, my PTR picture was me in the raft in the Arkansas River, courtesy of Royal
Yeah.
Gorge Rafting. But what I really wanted to get you in connection with them for is I'm not sure if your son at Miami of Ohio wants to look into it, but I'm sure Ty would love to have him on staff this summer at the Royal Gorge Rafting Company. His whole business is run entirely by high school and college students,
Oh, no
and
way. Oh my
he's an
God.
amazing human, amazing values, and the people that he's developing there, I think you'll be amazed. So it's definitely some
You're
place
like
to check out.
you're triggering my ADD where I'm like, oh, I gotta go check it out.
Yeah,
So
well, I'm gonna get him. I'm gonna get him to try and reconnect with you again because
okay.
I'd say, like I said, it's being a rafting bum on a summer is, I don't know if it's something your son would like to do, but I know the young folks that are there guiding folks down the
Yeah.
river on a daily basis for their 2 or 3 month window really enjoy the
Yeah.
experience
What are you
and
talking
and
about?
working.
I want to do that. I want to.
Well, you
I bet
definitely
you
need to
Dan would
come
like
out,
that.
and you need to come out and do that. The reason I got there was one of my business activities is a networking group in local town, Castle Rock, that I'm in, and we're about, shoot, I'm going to say 150 or 200 miles from Royal Gorge. No, it's 150 miles from Castle Rock to Royal Gorge. Ty sent a bus to Castle Rock in the morning, picked us up, put us on a bus, 45 or whatever the maximum capacity for the bus was. We had a couple of cervezas on the way down because it was kind of sponsored by one of our local breweries. We got down there. We got there in time for lunch. The Royal Gorge Rafting Grill set us up with a lunch buffet. We had some beach volleyball there. We got all our gear, life preservers, and so forth to go on the rafting trip. They sent us up the road a little ways, put us in for about a 2 hour float back down, and then the fun commenced because Ty opened up his whole outside patio area, provided draft beers and mile high nacho plates and stuff like that. And
Nice.
after that, then we jumped back on the bus to go back out to the riverhead where we had got in, because he's got Airstreams that he's refurbished or bought new, and he's got a glamp ground. where they put in the river. They've got
Nice.
outdoor kitchens and all that, and the kids and staff from the Royal Gorge Grill came down and they prepared dinner for us. We had filet and baked potatoes and stuff on the bank of the river. The margarita machine was flowing because Ty is famous. His famous hospitality is margaritas. And
Nice.
then, you know, we're 10 o'clock at night. From 10 a.m. to 10 at night, we're back from our Royal Gorge day, and what an amazing day of networking, right? Business networking, and we just had a lot of fun. So
Oh, sounds
I can't
amazing. I
recommend a
love it,
trip
Ed.
to visit Ty enough.
Love it. I
So
think that's a good trip for Dan as well.
yeah, well, no, it's good fun, and the
hmm
campground is right there, so you won't have to worry about camping things.
It's got to be glamp. It's got to be glamp. Well, I absolutely love it, Ed. I actually am thinking I'm gonna go check that out as soon as we wrap it
Yeah,
up.
I'll connect you guys. I mean, it's always nice to
Good.
be treated. You'll be treated like the royalty you are, Barbara, and I am so thankful that you carved out the hour to be with me today. You are direct selling royalty, Barbara. I'm so happy that I got to become friends with Barbara in the red dress at Clubhouse. That's an amazing place. So find Barbara there. The More Life Collective. I think I've got a
.com. There it is. I love it. That is my book. I love it. Yes. themorelifecollective.com. And I just wrote a book helping more people get out of their own way, live their best life, optimize their health, wealth, their happiness. I'm really, you're going to love reading it, Ed, because there's a lot of familiar stories in there.
I do appreciate you, and the folks. Anybody in the sales business has a lot to learn from watching you, and actually I was pretty amazed to see how you have transitioned from the direct sales model to the internet presence model. I'm not sure exactly what to call it, but I
Yeah, the
but
online space. I'm still learning. I'm a work now. I'm more like in the early days of where I'm a work in progress for sure. And I have more to learn than I do have to teach in the space of online, but I will master it with much patience and perseverance as we do everything. So thanks, Ed. I so appreciate this. And I look forward to seeing you again in Clubhouse, in the hallways of the Clubhouse.
very good, Barbara. You take good care and safe travels.
Thank you, Ed.
I kind of missed the Saturday morning sales meeting with Brian. He was adding a lot of value. I know it's not like terrifically valuable time for him to share with us in
You
Clubhouse,
know,
but it was cool.
he's just doing he's in the middle of a transaction that has him, super busy. So I think he'll be back. Plus he's always coming in on my segment and I'm always got to like control him, which
Right.
I find funny because I'm like it's kind of part of the fun of the segment, I think, is me trying to control the narrative while Brian takes it over.
Right. He's out doing crop circles at a drop of a hat.
I'm like, we were not talking about Joe Biden.
No, not today. Or Trump. Stop it.
I can't get him. I'm like, how does your wife function with this? Oh my God, I love him like a brother.
I
I
do I
enjoy
do
it.
too, and I have to say that he grated on me a great deal whenever I first encountered him in Clubhouse. And the more I mean, he grows on you like mold.
He's so many people I've had to kind of just be like, just give him a second. He's a good person. He is a good person, Ed.
He is.
Um, and I like authentic people, so I tend to gravitate towards, those who are like
Amen.
unapologetically themselves.
Amen.